Today we're going to learn how to create columns in Microsoft Word. Most times when you look at a newspaper or some magazines, the text is not all the way across the page. It's usually split into columns. And that's very easy to do in Microsoft Word. I have our show hide command on so we can see our non-printing characters, and that's for a reason. So most of the time you want your title of your document to be across the entire page. You don't want it just over one of the columns. So to make sure we can do that, we're going to go to page layout, and you've learned how to insert a page break. This time we're going to insert something that's called a continuous section break, which will split this section into a different section than the one below it. All right, we're just going to delete that extra marker. And now what we're going to do is we don't even have to highlight the text because we're in this section. All right, now this is a section and this is a section. We're going to go to page layout, right where we found our breaks, okay, in the page setup group. We're going to click columns, and then we're going to click two columns. That takes all of the body of this text. This would be the title, this would be the body. All of the body is now in two columns. Now, if we had, I'm going to put this back to 1 for a second. Another option is to go to more columns, and that opens up the columns dialog box. In your columns project, I ask you to split it into two columns, and then I ask you not to put a line between the columns. If we did a line between the columns, it would look like that. Okay, we don't want that right now. So we're going to go back to columns, more columns, and when we split it into two, column 1 is 3.25 inches wide with a spacing of a ½ inch between the two columns. We also have equal column width checked, which means both columns are going to be 3.25. All right, that should get you started. We're going to hit OK, and the first thing we're going to do is we are going to go back to the Home tab. We're up near our title. We're just going to center align our title. Okay, then the next thing we're going to do right to the left of our first paragraph is we are going to insert a picture. So we laid out the page with the columns, okay, but now we're going to actually insert something new. We're going to insert a clip art. So you click clip art in the illustrations group, and you come over here, and we're going to search for, this is about Grey's Anatomy. So we're going to search the medical clip arts. And there's a few you can include online and hit go, and you'll get a lot more than what we had. Okay, so you don't have to pick any particular one as long as it's a medical clip art. I'm just going to click on that. And now notice how it's really tall, and it kind of made our columns look kind of silly. So what we're going to do is we're going to change the text wrap. We're going to change it to tight, and we're going to change the height to 1 inch. Now, if you notice your width, right now my width says 1.27. When I click 1 up there and hit enter, it's automatically going to change the width. That keeps our picture proportional. All right, so we're going to just put that in the left column. Okay, so that's the first thing we wanted to do. The next thing I'm going to teach you how to do in this is I'm going to teach you how to do a dropped cap effect. I'm going to X out of our clip art because we're done with that. And now we highlight the first letter of the second paragraph. Then we're going to go to page layout. Actually, no, we're going to go to insert. I apologize. We're going to insert. And then we go over to the text group. If you notice, there's a drop cap. We click the drop down arrow, and we're going to use the dropped cap effect. And we're going to just hit enter. And there we have the drop cap. It spans 3 lines, which is what we want. Now what we're going to do is we're going to highlight all of the text on the page, and I asked you to justify align this text. What that does, it just makes it look sharper. All of the lines end at the same, so you don't get that staggered look. Okay, and then I believe the last thing we're going to do in this project is we're going to add a page border. So in our page layout, okay, you're going to go to page border. For this page border, we're going to choose, I believe we choose an art page border for this. And let's see what we've got. I don't have the paperwork at home, so I'm not sure what you have to do for your project. So I'm just going to scroll down through the art and see if there's something that I could use that looks medical-like. And I'm not seeing anything. So let me just give you an example. We'll just choose some apples, which are very unmedical. But see how huge they are in our preview? We're going to just take this width down, and it can make it look a lot better that way. So I'm just going to hit OK, and now you can see what our things look like. I'm going to go back to page borders, though, for right now, and I'm going to change it to a box border. I'm going to change it to a style like just a regular border rather than an art border. I'm going to change the color to something blue, so it's a little bit more subtle. And then I'm going to change the point to 2 1/4 point, so it's not quite so thick. And then I'm going to hit OK. So that's how you insert a page border. Okay, and that should be what our document should sort of look like. Now, I'm not sure if you need to change your margins and things like that. Again, I don't have the directions at home. So I'm just teaching you how to do some of the skills, not necessarily how to get a good grade on your project. All right. Let's just review real quick. We centered, used the home tab, and we centered our title. We inserted a section break, and we did that in the page layout, in the break section. We also, in the page setup group, we added our 2 columns for our second section. We split that in 2 columns. We inserted, on the insert tab, we inserted a clip art, a medical clip art. We changed the text wrapping to tight, and then we changed the size by just adjusting the height, and the width automatically adjusts, which keeps your picture proportional. Then we inserted also a drop cap effect, which is right here in the text group. And then we also did a page border, which is in the page background group on the page layout tab. All right, that should help you with creating columns in Word.